In today's video, we're going to be having a look at using Home Assistant in VR. Check it out. What's going on, guys? I hope you're all doing well. Recently, Home Assistant released the first version of the Oculus Quest 2 companion app. And essentially what this does is it allows you to sign into Home Assistant by making use of the Oculus Quest 2. And when you do this, it shares that information with Home Assistant and you gain access to well over 40 different data points. And some of these data points include things like the Oculus Quest 2's battery life, the interactive state, so whether it's active or inactive, so if someone's wearing it or if they're not, and other things such as the IP address and Wi-Fi signal strength. Before we carry on, a couple of things to mention. This is the first release of the companion app for the Quest, so do expect some bugs. And the next one being that this app is currently only available to set up and install through Siequest, so you can't access it through the Oculus Store. Now, this is something that Home Assistant are working on, and over time it will be available through the Oculus Store. But for now, it's Siequest only. And if you have no idea what Siequest is, imagine it as kind of like an alternate app store, but for the Quest. The setup process for Siequest isn't too difficult, and we are going to run through it step by step now. If you've never seen the Siequest store, I would recommend checking it out because there's lots of great content on there and lots of it is free for you to try out. So with all that said, let's get straight into getting the companion app installed on this thing. As always with my videos, all the links and everything you'll need will all be in the description below, and it will also be chaptered, so if there's a particular part you want to see, feel free to use those timestamps in the description and just jump ahead. The first step that we're going to want to take then is to just head over to the Siequest website, and we're going to want to download Siequest for the platform that we're on. It's also worth noting here that Siequest does also work on Mac and Linux, so if you are using either of those systems, you can also grab a download for them. I'm just using Windows, so I'm going to go ahead and download the 64-bit version there for Windows. We're then just going to need to locate the file we downloaded, and we're going to run it. I'm just going to leave it with the default installation setups, but you can change it if you want, so we're going to press Next, and then Install. And once that completes, we're done with this step of Siequest, so we can just hit finish. So we're done with the Siequest app for the minute, and we can just leave that to one side. And we can now move on to our next step, which is setting up an organization. To set up the organization, we're going to want to head over to the Oculus developer website, and you'll find a link to the page you need to go to in the description. Once logged in, you'll be taken to the Create a New Organization page, and from here you're going to need to provide an organization name. For this, you can just write whatever you want, so enter something in the box, and then you're going to need to tick the I understand button and choose submit. You're then going to have to carefully read through your NDA, and if happy, hit agree and then hit submit. And that's it for setting up an organization, so you can now close that page and you can follow the next link, which is going to be to install the Oculus drivers. Following that link is going to take you to this page, but you're only going to need to perform this step if you're using a Windows machine. If you're on Mac or Linux, then you can just skip this one, but if you are on Windows, you're going to go ahead and click that big blue download button at the top. We then just need to locate that file we downloaded, and we're going to right click on it and choose Extract All. With that extracted, we're going to open it up, and we're going to choose the USB driver file, and inside of there, we're going to look for the android_winusb.in file. With that located, we're going to right click on that, and we're going to choose Install. We're then going to need to press open, and then we'll get a security pop-up asking us if we'd like to install the software, and we're going to need to press install on this. And once we've done that, that's the Oculus drivers installed. Now you may have noticed that those were the Oculus Go drivers, and the reason for this is that the Oculus Go drivers are also compatible with the Quest, so don't worry if you see Oculus Go mentioned. We're now at a state where we're pretty much done with all the software installs and everything we need. There's just a couple of things left to do. The next step we need to do is to set up the developer mode, and to do this we're going to be making use of the mobile app. So go ahead and open up the Oculus app on your phone or tablet, and in the bottom right corner of the app you want to choose menu, and from in the menu you're going to click devices, which is the small grey square in the top left. From here you should see your connected Quest device, and you're going to scroll down until you see developer mode. You're then going to want to select developer mode, and you'll see a toggle for developer mode, and you're going to want to toggle this on. Once you've turned that on, you're then just going to want to reboot your Oculus Quest headset. Once the headset reboots, you're going to need to plug it into your PC. A handy cable to use if you haven't got one is just the charging cable that comes with the Quest, providing you've got a USB-C port on your computer. You'll then just need to put your headset on, and from here you should see a little pop-up telling you need to confirm the USB debugging. There's also a little tick box that you can tick to always trust the computer, so go ahead and click that. And once you've done that, that's it. That's Siequest fully set up on your Quest. If you head back into the Siequest software, up at the top there, you should see a little green dot, and you should also see the IP address as well as the battery life for your Oculus Quest. If for whatever reason following along with this didn't work for you and you still can't get your Quest to connect with Siequest, then head over to the Siequest website and there is some troubleshooting information available there. So check that out, and failing that, drop me a comment below and I'll do my best to help you out. Carrying on then, we're going to return to the Siequest app that we originally installed at the beginning. Now this is an optional step, but I'd recommend it as it's worthwhile, especially if you're going to make use of Siequest. But all we're going to do here is just create a user account. Now it is just a simple case of filling in the form and entering your details, but if you don't want to do this, then you don't have to. If you're just downloading the Home Assistant app and you're not bothered about Siequest or anything else, then you can just skip it. And what we're finally going to do now is just install the Home Assistant companion app. So in Siequest, in the top right corner, you'll see this little search for game section, and in here you're going to just do a search for Home Assistant. And as you start typing it, you should just see it pop up here, so we're just going to select that. And that will take us into the Home Assistant Siequest page, and the option that we care about here is this big pink button that says download app, and we're just going to select that. When you select that, do make sure that your Quest is connected, and you'll know that it's connected again just because you'll see that green dot in the top left corner. Once that's downloaded, you'll see at the bottom there it will say all tasks completed, just briefly, and then you know that it's done. And now that that's done, we can unplug the headset and put it on, and we'll carry the Home Assistant setup from within VR. So we're here now in VR, and what we're going to need to do is now just access the Home Assistant app that we installed. So to do this, we're just going to press on apps, and then in the top here, we can see that it's filtering all apps. So we're going to want to just change that filter. So if we just press on that, you should see a new section called unknown sources, and this is going to be where any of your Siequest content goes. So if we select that, we can see Home Assistant in that list, and we're just going to open that up. And what this is going to do is just open up the Home Assistant companion app, and all we're going to need to do here is just sign into Home Assistant. So if we press continue, it's going to look for any Home Assistant instances on our network, and I can see my demo one there, so I'm going to go ahead and press that. And then it's just going to ask me to sign in with my username and password. It's then going to ask us to name our device. So I've just called mine Quest, but you can call this whatever you want. And this is going to be the name that appears in your companion app list of devices. So name it something appropriate. We're then just going to press finish, and it's going to take us to our Home Assistant dashboard. So we're here on the Home Assistant dashboard, and I can pretty much do anything that you'd expect to be able to do within the Home Assistant dashboard. So I can see up there I've got my office lights, and I can toggle those on and off by making use of the toggle switches here. And when I turn them on and off, as you'd expect, the lights will turn on and off. You also have full access to everything else within your Home Assistant, so you can expand the hamburger menu there, and you can just browse through all the different bits that you've got installed. One cool thing that you can do with the Oculus app is if you go to either the left or the right of the screen, you'll see these white little tabs that appear, and if you grab on those little white tabs, you can actually stretch the screen out. So if you wanted a longer screen, a wider screen, sorry, then you could do that. Or if you wanted a smaller kind of mobile screen, then again, you can do that. And as the Home Assistant UI is responsive, it will just snap down to whichever size you've got it on. Now, this is quite a nice feature, and if you make use of the Oculus multitasking, then it might be a cool one to have just have Home Assistant minimized on the side. So as well as being able to make use of the Home Assistant dashboard and any of the various different screens that you've got, you also have access to those 40 data points that I mentioned earlier. And to actually access those, you just need to go into the companion app settings. So in configuration there, you can just scroll down and you'll see this option here for companion app. So you're going to select that. And what this is going to show us is all the bits that we can customize and configure for the Quest. So the bit that we're interested in here is the sensors. So if we head into manage sensors here, we can view all the different bits of information about the various sensors. So we can see that by default, it disables a lot of them and it only enables a couple of them to actually start with. So have a scroll through that list of data points and just look for ones that you're interested in. And when you do find one that you are interested in, just select it and it will give you a brief description of what it is and what it does. And then you simply just press the toggle in the top right corner and that will turn it on and it will be accessible through Home Assistant. Back Home Assistant side then, I can see underneath mobile app that my Quest's been added there. Now I've only got this one mobile app on this demo version, so it's the only thing that's there. But I can see my Quest there and I can see that I've got 20 entities. I think from the default settings, I think you only get access to 7 entities without turning on some of the other ones. But I've turned on a few here, so let's just have a look at those. So if I select the device there, I can see my Quest and I can see the battery level for it. So currently mine's on 96%. And if I press it again, that's going to take me into the device where I can see the various different sensors that we just turned on a second ago. From the list of different sensors that you can enable, one of the ones that I would recommend you check out is the interactive sensor. And what this one does is it tells you whether or not the Quest is currently active or not. So if the screen is on or not, and basically that little sensor that tells you if it's on your face or not, if that's detecting something, then this sensor will be on. So I can see it here, it's currently off and it updates really quick. So if I just turn the headset on there, you should see that that just instantly changes. And if I turn it off, then it will just go off again. Some other simple automations you could do are to do with the battery level. So if the battery level is below a set point or if it's fully charged, then Home Assistant could send you a notification to let you know. Another one could be to have your light's brightness automatically adjust. So depending on that state of the interactive sensor, you could have the lights go brighter or dimmer to just help out with the VR tracking. I'm not sure if it's possible, but some sensors that I'd like to see added to the list are the Oculus health sensors, so the ones for tracking your activity goals and your calories. If you could have those brought into Home Assistant, I think that would be quite cool, especially if you use the Oculus for health related things like doing workouts and whatever, because that way you could have that linked to it and you could have notifications to remind you to complete your goals or, to charge it up if you haven't completed your goals. If you're going to be making use of the companion app and you've got a cool automation or a cool use case that you're going to make use of, then let me know what your idea is in the comments below. And there we go guys, that's been a quick look at the new companion app for the Oculus Quest. If you have enjoyed this video, then don't forget to drop me a like, and if you're not already, hit that subscribe button and ding dong the notification bell. You'll then be alerted to any future video that I do. As always, a massive thank you to these awesome dudes. These awesome dudes are my Patreons. If you're interested in helping support my channel, which in turn allows me to create content like this, then you'll find a link to my Patreon in the description below. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.